Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. It's the first snowfall of the season, and I am not okay. This is Trevin.
And I am Amanda, and OMG, Trevin. Wow. I was just telling you about how it has happened. The snow has fallen here in Kansas City. And driving over here was totally fine until I pulled onto your street, which was super icy at the start.
Yeah, you'd think us being really close to a school, they would do a little better job of keeping these close streets taken care of, but there's a couple they don't care about.
It's icy out in these streets.
It really is.
So, Trevin, what is your dreadful dilemma?
My dreadful dilemma is that I have my original car back.
I saw that as I pulled in.
So they had told me that the part is in it, it shifts good, and I said, oh great, does the key come out of it now? And they're like, oh no, the key doesn't come out of it. And I'm like, well, we got to figure that out. I paid for an hour of diag time, which is just under $200.
Oh my God.
And they said, oh yeah, there's something inside of your shifter that's broken. We've got a rubber band around some piece that allows it to shift, but it can't release your key. But they said, come on a work day and we'll teach you how to get it to release so then you can at least not have to leave your key in your car at your house. So I took PTO that I didn't really have much of off to go up there to get taught. And everybody there told me, oh, well, the tech that actually did it, he took the day off, so nobody can show you how to do this. Okay, whatever.
Oh my God.
So I had to drive it all the way back home, and I finally found out that there is a piece that's broken. It doesn't read the gears correctly, and since it doesn't know it's in park, it's set to where it won't let the key out because it doesn't want you to like try to turn off your car, take out the key, and it's still being drive or something.
Oh, okay.
So every time I want to release the key, I have to put it in park, turn it off, and go disconnect the battery.
What a journey. So what are you going to do with this car?
My goal was the second I got it back, I was like, clock's ticking. I'm going to try to get this thing in my driveway and sold by this afternoon. But then after this problem came up, I'm like, no, because if I tell somebody, the only way to take the key out is by using the battery, then
right.
Somebody's like, well, I'm not going to pay this much for it.
And then you're going to sell it, right? After you get it fixed.
The second it's fixed, it's out of here.
Dang. R.I.P. That's a nice little car. It needed AC.
Yeah. I mean, the heat's going to work great for the winter, though.
That's true. Well, Trev and I also have a dreadful dilemma this week. And this one might get a little weird, but I think I just have to share it anyway.
All right. I have a feeling this episode's going to be really weird.
Do you?
Yeah, I just have a feeling.
Well, something really dreadful has been going on ever since I purchased a bidet attachment to my toilet.
Oh, I still want to get one of those.
You need to, but just be warned. Okay, Trevin, just be warned. This is my warning to all. I'm spoiled now. I'm completely and utterly spoiled by my bidet. And every other toilet that I use just will never do it justice.
I get that.
That's really the only dreadful part about it. I freaking love it. Everyone should get one. It's great when you have messy children, too. It's good for so many reasons. But when I sit on just a regular old toilet seat now, like pish posh applesauce.
Yeah, you're way above my old toilet up there.
Well, the attachment's only like, what, $20 maybe? It's not expensive or like bougie or anything, but I just love it.
Maybe I'll put that on my Christmas list.
You should.
Just one of those things that you would never get yourself, but you've always kind of wanted.
Yes. Oh my God, that is the perfect Christmas list item. I'm curious to see if anyone else puts that on their list. You guys should write in.
Or just give everybody you know a bidet for Christmas. My parents wouldn't know what to do with that. They'd be like, what? A water fountain for your butthole?
You know what? Buttholes need that hydration too, guys. So, we are going to be doing a round of 2 truths and a lie.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this.
I am very curious, Trevin, how you will do on this segment.
You know, 2 truths and a lie is kind of one of my favorites, I think.
Is it? I think I really like it too. Do you know much about trains?
No, not really. There was a weird kid in my school that drew train tracks a lot. That's about the most I know about trains. Oh, I mean, we worked at a train company. What? Isn't that weird?
That is so true. What do you mean you know nothing about trains? We worked at a repair place that sold parts for trains. You probably know more than any of us because you were around like a ton of different parts.
Yeah, I was the parts manager.
Oh my God.
And instead of filters, they would just buy big boxes of horsehair and you would shove the horsehair inside the brakes and then anything that came out chunky would get caught by all this coarse horsehair. So there's a fun fact.
How did I not know that? And I worked there.
I don't know, but we had boxes that were like 60 pounds of pure horsehair.
So they just like paid for someone to trim their horse's mane and give it to them?
I guess.
This is mind-blowing facts, ladies and gents. I'm a little afraid you might get this one right. Seems like you are a lot more knowledgeable than you were letting on. So, my 2 truths and a lie will be about trains. Statement number 1. Trains are estimated to kill 1 person every 100 minutes. Statement number 2. More than 80% of crossings lack adequate warning devices, such as lights or gates. Or statement 3. The largest train accident took the lives of 800 passengers.
This is a tough one because I don't know much about the history of trains. But I'm going to say that I believe C is the lie.
You're right! Okay, I totally thought because I was really struggling to spit B out, I thought you were going to think that one was the lie. And I was like, gosh dang it, I really...
No, that one felt super true.
Okay, you are so smart. So do you think that the largest accident took more lives than 800 or less?
800 is a lot, but I'm going to go with more.
Okay, and you are also correct.
Oh, I'm so unhappy to hear that.
I'm just going to explain the lie because I feel like the first 2 are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, 1 person every 100 minutes is a little much.
It is, but I'm also not that surprised.
Right. And then more than 80% of crossings lack the appropriate warning. Like, what in the hell? That has got to change.
We grew up in rural Midwest. We know that.
I do know that. Let me go ahead and explain this part a little bit. I wanted to give the website tbsnews.net a little shout out because they had a lot of good information on this. So, the world's deadliest rail tragedy took place on the 26th of December in 2004 when the Queen of the Sea, I guess that was the name of the train, was destroyed by the Indian Ocean tsunami. It was Christmas weekend, and the 8 train cars were packed with travelers. According to the reports, the crowded passenger train was struck by 2 waves near a village in its route to the southern city of Galway from the Colombo Fort station. A massive wave slammed into the train, smashing it against the trees and houses that bordered the track. 1,500 tickets were sold for the trip, but an estimated 200 people boarded the train at various stops without tickets. So as a result, the death toll was estimated to be at least 1,700 people.
Holy hell. So you said they were getting on the train to escape it, so that's why it was so packed? Or did I just make that up in my head? I might have just made that up.
Oh, no. It was Christmas weekend. So they were probably traveling to get places. I don't think that they were even thinking about the tsunami.
For it to be that big, that totally makes it feel kind of like an outlier. Not only is it a train crash, but it's also a natural disaster plus a train crash.
I know.
So that was one thing that made me hesitate on saying higher than 800, but yeah, that makes total sense when you got it mixed like that.
Yeah. At first, I was finding a lot of train crashes and historical crashes that happened here in the U.S., but none of them compared to some of them outside of the U.S. The top 2 that I found were both because of natural disasters occurring while people were on a train. So
yeah,
having both of those 2 forces combined, yeah. I haven't traveled by train that much, but I didn't think that they could even hold that many people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. That's so many, but I don't know. Certain places probably have gigantic ones.
Right.
Not us around here.
No. Well, damn, you killed it. I am surprised. You knew. God dang it.
Thank you. You know, I try really hard.
You're a train expert.
And as I am a train expert, I'm wondering if you're an expert on what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Do you know much about boobs?
I think I know a thing or 2 about boobs.
Ooh, that's a good answer. So I did some research on boobs,
Okay.
and I would like to give you the 2 truths and a lie about boobs.
I'm so ready.
Statement number 1. Fatal Fury 2 was the first video game to have breast physics. Statement number 2. Johnny Cash named his daughter after his wife's breasts. Or statement number 3. Pornhub is the largest contributor to breast cancer research.
I'm going to have to go, Trevin, with I think that B is the lie only because, please, Johnny, please say it ain't so.
You are incorrect.
No freaking way.
Johnny Cash named his daughter Roseanne after his nickname for his wife Vivian's breasts. Left one being Rose, right one being Anne.
No! He combined the names of the tatas?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I know, I found that pretty amazing.
Oh, God.
But the actual untruth is, number 3, Pornhub is not the largest contributor to breast cancer research.
Oh.
But I will say, there is a funny story that goes with Pornhub and breast cancer research. And I'm coming from Wikipedia, but Pornhub hosted a Save the Boobs campaign in August 2012. For every 30 videos viewed in Pornhub's big tit or small tit category in the month of October, the website offered to donate a penny to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. They ended up getting $24,716 worth of donations, but the Susan G. Komen Foundation rejected the offer, stating that they were not a partner of Pornhub's and they would not accept their donations. So Pornhub ended up putting something out there and was just like, hey, anybody doing anything for these breasts, let us know. They tripled it all the way up to $75,000, and they split it between 2 charities, being the Eileen Stein Jacoby Fund and Cancer Sucks, Inc.
Whoa, that is actually really fascinating. I can't believe they turned down a donation.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked about that too. I was like, just fucking take it.
I guarantee either they themselves or someone that they know and love has been on Pornhub. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and probably the person rejecting them was on it too.
Yeah.
Fatal Fury 2 was the first video game that featured noticeably jiggly breasts with breast physics.
Okay, when you said breast physics, I was like, what in God's green earth? But I mean, I thought that one had to be true.
Yeah, it was basically games only work with physics of things like bullets, or if you throw a ball in a game, they just want to make sure the gravity's right. But in 1992 was the first time that a game designer said, but what about the boobs? Like, I'm noticing not a lot of bounce going on here. So the game came out in 1992 and featured a fighter named Mai Sharinyu, who has very noticeably jiggly breasts.
Oh my God. I need to
and
find
I will
a video.
show you her.
Oh my God, let me see.
It's just a little gif of her boobs bouncing.
Oh my word.
And she has terrible posture. Look at how her feet are standing.
Why are her big toes separated that far apart?
Yeah, so I imagine she has major back problems.
She needs to go to a chiropractor stat.
Agreed.
But I am glad you showed that to me because I was like, oh, they probably overly jiggled. And they did.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, fighting games are always known for the jiggliest boobs.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that's always been a thing.
Since the 90s.
Since the 90s. I didn't know it was 92. I'm only 2 years older than jiggly video game breasts.
Oh my God. Well, dang it. You got it right and I got it wrong. Both of our lies were the last ones. Is that what it was again?
I was kind of upset when I noticed. I was like, oh, shit. I'll leave it.
Well, you know what else we'll leave in? These ads.
Hey, everyone. I'm about to play a trailer for our friend Ashley's podcast, That's So Fucked Up. If you love the weird and bizarre facts we share, you'll love this show. Help support more independent pods by giving her show a follow.
This is That's So Fucked Up, a podcast about cults, murder, and other fucked up stuff. Like really, really fucked up stuff. He tore out her heart, tied it to a rope, and hung it on the wall.
Fucking sharks ate Mark under the dinghy.
After his dad dies, he fucking marries all his dad's wives.
Oh, yeah.
He marries all his stepmoms.
I'm your host, Ashley Love Richards. Find That's So Fucked Up anywhere you listen to podcasts.
That's fucked up.
And it's story time, and it's my week to go first. This is a story that I discovered from the news. It's one that I had to whip up together quite quickly But as all my stories, I just had the best time writing it, and it's a doozy.
This is going to be a doozy of a week.
Yes, it is. So here we go. When it comes to modes of transportation, there is only one that is worthy of a classic criminal, and that is traveling by train. For decades, villains have used the railroad system to their advantage, playing to the fact that trains appear innocent enough for loads of passengers to ride in, yet are dangerous enough to split in half at a moment's notice. Classic criminals value a dramatic countdown to doom. Many achieve this method by destroying a train track off in the distance, or by tying their victim to the tracks in front of an oncoming locomotive.
I don't want to die a virgin.
You can fight in a train, in between train cars, or even on top of a train's roof, giving criminals options for sparring. Even the sounds of a train give off eerie energy, with the industrial huffing and puffing and shrill horns blaring out into the wind. With all of that being said, it only makes sense that today's story would take place on a train. So settle in, as we're now all aboard the Petty Express. Judy was a 38-year-old woman living in her villain era in the year 2021. She was known in the area of College Station, Texas, to be quite the troublemaker. She had thrown punches in bar fights, robbed stores in broad daylight,
Put the money in the bag.
and even defecated in the yards of her enemies. The others in town feared Judy, but she knew it would take guts to keep them afraid of her. Judy had more than a few crimes under her belt already, but that didn't mean she had achieved all of her criminal goals. She had grown up watching old Western movies, fantasizing about what it would be like to fight someone on top of a speeding train, where life as she knew it could be taken out by a blow from her opponent, a fall off the locomotive, or a tiny tunnel. However, Judy knew these fantasies would most likely remain in her mind, as she would never be able to convince someone to join her atop a moving train. Honestly, she wasn't even sure if she herself could do it. On the outside, Judy kept her appearance tough. She bullied her neighborhood kids and scared off all unwanted solicitors. But on the inside, she felt criminally inaccurate. She began to intensify her daily crimes by dining and dashing at her favorite restaurants and defecating on lawns that didn't belong to her enemies. Nonetheless, nothing could fill the train-sized hole in her petty heart. It was a crisp fall afternoon when Judy found herself aimlessly walking around town. She tried to distract her racing thoughts of inadequacy by tripping others walking past her, but it was no use. Her stomach sank lower with each and every step, until she heard an uplifting sound in the distance.
A train!
Judy said breathlessly. Before another thought crossed her mind, Judy began sprinting towards the close-by train station. She ran past elderly pickpocket victims, dashed past vulnerable children, and leapt over an abandoned $20 bill. Doing all of this in a desperate plea to reach the train in time. Finally, Judy had made it to the station. She had just regained her breath by putting her hands on her head when the train came to a screeching halt before her. She slowly made her way to the rear of the train, forming a plan with each step. Judy didn't want to buy a ticket and take a ride on the train with the rest of the townsfolk. Judy wanted to fulfill her villainous destiny and take a ride on top. She watched the conductor and the rest of the railroad employees assist passengers off the train,
Right this way.
and knew it was now or never. Judy hopped up the caboose steps and hoisted herself up the side and onto the hard roof of the train. Not wanting to remain at the very back, she army crawled to the middle train car and held on for dear life. Soon, the train was ready for departure as the conductor yelled out,
All aboard!
Judy was delighted with herself as her adrenaline oozed through her outlaw veins. The metal gears began moving as the train started chugging down the crickety tracks. Judy let out a villainous laugh as her hair blew backwards aggressively, but was quickly interrupted by choking on the small bugs flying towards her face. It was bliss. Surrounding the tracks were wide open fields of crops and empty country lanes. Yet in the upcoming road intersection, Judy spotted a truck and 2 people standing beside it. Zooming past them, she noticed they weren't just watching the train, but they were filming her on a cell phone. Not long after, Judy felt a shift of gears from the train beneath her as it started to gradually slow. What? We just got started! Judy complained out loud to herself. Regardless of her disappointment, the train came to a full stop. Surely the sudden end couldn't have been caused because of her, Judy thought to herself. But her fears were quickly confirmed as the conductor walked all the way to the middle car and looked up at her.
Ma'am, what the hell are you doing up there?
On September 28th of 2021, 38-year-old Judy DeLeon was spotted riding on top of a moving Union Pacific train near College Station, Texas. Witness Stephen Hodge was quoted saying, I was headed home with my wife and passed the train going down Wellborn. She saw it and pointed it out. When we got to the entrance of the neighborhood, we had to wait on the train anyways, so I got out my cell phone and filmed. And my wife called the railroad company to let them know about the lady on the train. Train workers then spotted Judy and stopped the train as soon as they were approved to do so. Once the train was completely stopped, railroad employees, 2 deputies, and a fire truck all appeared at the scene, trying to convince Judy to come down. After 2 deputies climbed on the car and failed to get Judy down, the College Station Fire Department used their ladder from their fire truck. 3.5 hours later, 2 firefighters persuaded her to come down the ladder with them. Railroad employees later told sheriff's deputies that the company lost $3,600 because the incident not only delayed the train Judy was on, but also 2 others in the area. Ultimately, she was charged with interfering with railroad property and was placed in Brazos County Jail on a $5,000 bond. This wasn't Judy's only offense, however, as this marked her 14th time being in the Brazos County Jail in the last 7 years, and the 4th time in the last 6 months. See what I mean about trains being the perfect transport for villains? I'm sure after this story, you will never hear a distant train horn the same way again. And honestly, I'm okay with that. For far too long, locomotives have appeared to be a wholesome and innocent form of travel. But if we remove our tunnel vision, I think we can all get on the same train of thought. As for Judy, let's hope in the future she can start to conduct herself appropriately.
Okay, I'm here for the conduct yourself.
Oh my God.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Where did you say this took place at again?
Texas.
Oh, that's why they had the country voices.
Yes, it took place in Texas. I think it was called College Station. And to be honest, I don't know if that's even a small town. Usually I will research it kind of roughly, but I did see a video that was taken by the onlookers that gave the witness statement, and it looked rural. Like it looked like it was country roads. That's where I got all of that from.
Okay, yeah, and also all of her backstory about doing all the bad stuff. I was wondering when you did it, because I had one not too long ago where somebody had a bunch of arrests, and you had asked me, oh, did you make those up or was that real? And I was like, well, it was because that person had gotten arrested a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought when you were doing that, I was like, oh, I bet this person has quite an arrest history too.
Yes. When I first found this, I didn't see that right off the bat. And then immediately when I did, I was like, this is a little troublemaker. That little tidbit, I think it was only listed on 1 or 2 articles. So not all of them either knew that or talking about it. But I was like, you're a troublemaker. So I had to play up the villain part of her, you know?
Yeah, inner villain era.
Yes.
I love that.
I'll have to show you the video afterwards. I'll have to post it online too. But it's just a quick little video of a train going by and a woman just on top. But how weird would that be to be those onlookers? To be like, what the hell?
I don't even know if I would have told anybody. Like, I wouldn't even have known to have thought of it like, hey, get it, boy. And then that's all I would have done. I mean, I probably would have recorded it, sure. But I mean, I wouldn't have told anybody probably.
I guess it's smart to do because, I mean, as I talked about in The Two Truths and a Lie, I guess they're pretty deadly to humans, trains and train tracks and stuff. So I get it. But my God, yeah. What a weird sequence of events. I wonder if they would have noticed her without that call.
I wonder that too. I bet not.
Yeah. I'm sure they would say that they would have, but I mean, how would you know?
Although this isn't the Wild Wild West. I mean, surely they have cameras or something that keeps track of that now.
You would think.
Or a person that watches, you know, like all the track cameras and calls them out or something.
Right. And it was funny too, in a lot of the articles, they said that they did notice her at the train station, like just standing there. So I don't know how she got on it. I had to make that part up, obviously. I don't know what her motivation was either. And I also found it to be really fascinating because not one article talked about being drunk, being on drugs, any sort of substance at all.
She's just on a good time.
So that's what I was kind of going off of. Because you would think when they listed what she was charged with, they would have said something else, right?
Generally, yeah, I would think.
I don't know what it was, but I had fun writing about it.
Yeah, that was a really fun story. I do have a friend that used to work for the railroad, and he said that they're very strict about you being on your phone at certain points and doing different things. And they said that there's like manager people that will fly little drones over the work area and will just try to catch you doing stuff. So if there are managers that are flying drones with cameras, they probably also use those drones for like keeping track of people on top of the trains and stuff, I would think.
You would hope that that's what they're using it for and not just being like, get off Instagram.
Right. So I'm thinking if it's that tricky for an employee, that lady probably would have gotten caught at least pretty early into her ride, I would think.
Dude, yeah. Also, it was hard for me to tell if they actually had to wait until they made it to a train station or if they stopped it just in between. I couldn't really figure that out in the articles, but it is interesting that she fought them for so long.
Yeah.
For 3.5 hours. They said that she was like, no, I'm not coming down.
Yeah, and they used the fire department ladder. I thought that was kind of surprising too. I thought just enough people would get up there and overpower her and just take her down.
Nope. 2 officers apparently tried and couldn't, and then they had to get a ladder. She had to be coaxed into coming with them. So that kind of makes me think they stopped the train not at the train track. Maybe it was like uneven ground and just hard to get her down. I mean, she popped right up there, right?
Right.
At the train station, and you'd think that they wouldn't need a fire department ladder to get to her. I don't know. I don't know all the details, but my God.
And what did you say was her punishment again?
Interfering with a railroad system, I think.
But you don't know what her like punishment was? Like fine or jail or anything?
It just said that she was placed in jail with a $5,000 bond. I imagine with this being her 14th time in the last 7 years and the 4th time just in the last 6 months, I would assume they would have probably given her some time.
Even if the punishment wasn't that high, they would probably count up all the other stuff and give her the highest you can get for it, I would think.
Yeah, she was interfering with railroad property, but it doesn't say how long or anything.
Damn, I would have really liked to have known what she got.
Me too. Good God, but what a ride.
That is quite a ride. And now I see what you did there. You connected your story to your 2 truths and a lie.
I did.
And looks like you and I are on the same wavelength this week.
Boobies are involved?
Boobies will be involved.
Ah, yes.
This is going to be one of my naughty stories. Maybe the worst I've done yet. I don't know.
No, it cannot be worse than, what was it, the maple syrup hookup?
Oh, yeah, the maple syrup and jelly.
Yeah, this one can't be more naughty.
Well, we will see.
Okay.
And before I go on, let's share one more boob fact because I forgot to share some.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that the Virginia state flag is the only flag that shows a boob?
No way!
Now, it could be a man's breast. It looks feminine. It's hard to tell. But the Virginia flag has a person standing on top of another person. It says Sic Semper Tyrannis, and their boob is out.
Whoa.
It actually looks like a breast. It doesn't look like just a peck.
That does not look like a peck, I wouldn't say. Because usually in a cartoon form, they wouldn't take the time to give it such a curvature. They would just put the nipple.
So if you're from Virginia, good on you.
Titties out, Virginia.
That's right. Free that nip.
Free the nipple.
All right. So if you got children, cover their ears. And here we go. Do you ever feel like our world is a little too erotic? Like no matter what you do, you run the risk of completing a mundane task only to find yourself engorged with feelings of lust and titillation. Is anyone else getting tired of this? With internet culture, ad algorithms, and companies knowing how to tap into our animal urges, we belong to a society that feeds on our most basic desires. Deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, cravings for salty sweet treats, and the need to make more money are hurled at us. From the moment we wake to the second we stop looking at our phone and go to bed. We've talked about this. Any product can be marketed towards you using your insecurities and desires against you. But one aspect of our world that I feel is missed by me is how damn sexy it is. Seriously, how are we supposed to get anything done? Our stores are packed with the most phallic and boob-adjacent foods.
Yummy.
TikTok might as well just be the clappin' ass cheeks app. And I can't even order a Starbucks without being seduced by the lascivious gaze of its mascot. Whisk me away with your siren song, you two-finned sex kitten. There's an increasing amount of skin in our movies. Brie Larson is doing more commercials. And have you seen the ads for our fast food burgers lately? They must be using 20K resolution cameras. Each nook and cranny of the greasy burger meat is like highly detailed ASMR for my eyes. So shiny, so wet, so delicious. I want to put my mouth on those buns and not stop until I'm full. Examples like this are exactly why this is a problem. I live in America. My life isn't supposed to be about stimulating my nether regions until satisfaction. My time should be used more wisely on things that actually matter, like paying my taxes, putting in extra hours for my boss's profit, and voting in a two-party system that I don't believe in. Anything that distracts me from that is downright shameful. I know a lot of you sinners listening probably don't see a problem with this. You like your car commercials with a side of sex. And every time you eat a banana in public, you feel like an exhibitionist.
Nice technique.
But there are prudes in this world that find themselves deeply affected by any signs of the sensual. So much so that the mere utterance of a penis could ruin their whole week. For this very saucy story, I'm going to put you knuckle deep into the world of a prude, opening your eyes to just how shameful our society's become. So keep an open mind during this one, because you might just find that you too are a part of the problem. Emma was a 30-year-old woman living in Carlisle, England. Living the life of an introvert, she had self-imposed a sheltered existence for herself. Books, work, and some social interaction was all she needed in her life. And most of those social interactions were spent with her boyfriend, Raymond. For the past 5 years, Emma and Raymond had been in a relationship together. They had somewhat similar interests, but the best part of their relationship was how well their lifestyles meshed together. It was completely natural. Emma would stay home to read, while Raymond went out drinking with friends. She never had him interrupting her reading, while he never had her cramping his style at the club. When they were together, Raymond would often fill the silences with rants about his unfounded opinions.
Everyone else is stupid!
And Emma would remain quiet, not wanting to make him more angry. Like I said, it was very natural for them. But as the relationship went on, Emma started to notice some changes in herself. She realized that some of Raymond's opinions offended her. His constant talking did not help her relax, and he just didn't challenge her to do better in life. Her relationship had become an Amazon Essentials brand t-shirt that got left in the dryer too long. Terrible looking, unsalvageable, and squeezing in on her. She could feel herself growing as a person, but Raymond hadn't changed since the day they met. 31 years old, and she still couldn't convince him that not all dogs are boys and all cats are girls. Although the relationship wasn't bringing Emma a lot of value, the space allowed her much more time for discovering herself. While Raymond was out, she was going to therapy, learning the history of the patriarchy, and taking daily walks. The world was something new and exciting for her to discover, and Emma had no idea what new door would open to her on one random workday. It was a very boring day at the job store. Emma had been typing words all day and completing forms. The music from her iPod Touch played as the small earbuds struggled to drown out the sounds of the office.
Hello?
But just as she hit pause to give her ears a break, a voice rose above the keyboard sounds.
Big penis!
"Oh, God," Emma said to herself, knowing exactly what was going on in the break room. The job store office hierarchy was led by two powerful cougars at the top, Hot Susan and Amanda. Together, these two brought the cheer to the office Christmas parties. The men would bend to their every will, and they were untouchable by HR. No one could resist them, and their confidence scared the hell out of Emma. During her time of employment, Emma had overheard many of Hot Susan and Amanda's conversations from the break room. They were loud and unfiltered. Emma could confidently name you each one of their last 3 sexual partners from all the information shared within those 4 walls. She often wondered what being a part of the conversation would be like, but anytime she thought of joining, she reminded herself that her place was on the outside, creepily listening from afar. "Not today," she said to herself, standing up from her desk and grabbing her "You Gotta Be Kiddin' Me" mug from her top shelf. She slowly made her way to the break room, leaning against the doorway.
"So I was there, going to town on myself, and my husband walks in saying, 'Hey, what are you doing?' And I said, 'You want dinner tomorrow night? You better get back to bed.' You know what I'm saying?"
Hot Susan's crowd of Amanda and 3 random businessmen roared with laughter, dying down as Hot Susan turned her attention towards Emma.
"This girl knows what I'm saying,"
Hot Susan said, motioning her coffee mug towards Emma.
"I know I'm not the only one churning butter to 50 Shades of Grey, right?"
Emma stuttered to herself, realizing her biggest anxiety was coming true. She joined the cool kids and didn't know what they were talking about. Seeing how visibly distraught Emma was, Amanda stepped forward, offering up some reassurance.
It's okay, girlie. You can have my first copy. I had to get a new version after this one's pages started sticking together.
Amanda dropped a moist, first edition, hardback copy of 50 Shades of Grey into Emma's hands.
See you next week.
"But it's only Monday."
I know.
For the rest of the day, Emma's eyes were attacked with words of sensual intent. She couldn't believe that there was a genre designed for such stimulation. It made her feel powerful. It made her excited. At the end of her workday, Emma couldn't control her feelings any longer. She texted Raymond, demanding that he cancel Monday night with the boys and spend some time with her. After some resistance, Raymond agreed. Later that evening, with Raymond in her bedroom, Emma began her moves of seduction. She gave herself a playful light blue eyeshadow and ditched the bra so he knows she means business. Laid out on her bed, she greeted Raymond as he walked into her room. "How was your day, Raymond?" she asked while twirling her hair.
"I'm so glad you asked,"
Raymond responded as he went on a 30-minute rant about his newest subreddit ban. Each time Emma would try to bring the conversation back to them, Raymond would call the mod team a bunch of fascists and continue talking about what he wanted.
It's bullshit!
His words went on, seemingly on a loop, until Emma's horny feminist rage got the best of her.
"Raymond, I need to talk to you about something,"
Emma yelled, interrupting Raymond's story.
"These girls at work gave me a book, and I need to share it with you."
Emma reached into her purse and pulled out the still moist copy of 50 Shades of Grey.
"I've been bunny earing the pages that I found to be the most important, so I can share it with you."
She turned the pages until she stopped at her first marked page.
"Feel free to react in any way that feels natural to you. I know I had some pretty strong feelings when I first heard it. Okay, here we go. He grabs me suddenly and yanks me up against him, one hand at my back holding me to him, and another fisting in my hair. You're one challenging woman. He kisses me, forcing my lips apart with his tongue, taking no prisoners."
Emma paused for a second, looking up at a blank-faced Raymond. She quickly jumped to another section and began reading again. "He's naked, except for those soft ripped jeans, top button casually undone. Geez, he looks so freaking hot. My subconscious is frantically fanning herself, and my inner goddess is swaying and writhing to some primal carnal rhythm." Raymond quickly put his hands on Emma's desk and hunched over.
"That book is the most vile and pornographic thing I've ever heard. You shouldn't be reading anything like this. I can't believe you canceled Boys Monday night for this disgusting smut!" he roared. Emma quickly jumped back to the book's defense. "No, this is a beautiful thing. It's passion. Maybe we can have passion like this. Let me read you one more passage."
Raymond stuck his fingers in his ears and began making noises, hoping to keep the sounds of sin from entering.
"Her sharp intake of breath is music to my dick. Raymond, there are words for men too. He said her breath was music to his dick.
Raymond eventually pulled his fingers from his ears and made one more declaration.
This is shameful, saucy behavior. You should be ashamed for thinking like this. I'm going home. I hope when I see you next time, you'll be wearing a bra and will have thrown that wet book away.
The door slammed with Raymond on the other side, leaving Emma confused at what just happened. She rolled over and continued reading more 50 Shades of Grey. She made it about 20 pages before checking her phone. There she found a text from Raymond saying, I can't believe you. The rest of the night went on with the couple typing out long text messages, each arguing their case. Who was to blame? Should they stay together? Why can he go to strip clubs and she not read a book? Many questions were thrown around, with nothing solved. The night ended with the two falling asleep angry in their own respective beds. The couple gave each other the silent treatment the next day, until later the next evening, Emma received a knock at the door. I don't have time for this, Raymond. I think we need to spend some more time apart if you can't see my side of this, Emma said, slowly shutting the door. But as the door began to close, Raymond stuck his foot in the way, keeping the door open.
You like things that are saucy?
Raymond asked in a very serious tone.
I think I do, Raymond, and I'm tired of pretending I don't.
Raymond reached into his pocket and pushed the door open as he began to yell.
I'll show you the true meaning of saucy.
He pulled his right hand up, revealing a bottle of steak sauce. With tactical precision, Raymond hoisted the bottle to face level, took aim, and began slapping the bottom, causing brown sauce to shoot all over Emma. Streams of sauce flew in rapid succession, leaving no wall or piece of furniture unsauced. The sodium and spices of the sauce stung as it entered Emma's eyes.
I hope this is saucy enough for you,
he shouted as he holstered his steak sauce and ran out of the house. In July of 2012, 31-year-old Carlisle, UK man Raymond Hodgson was arrested for going to his girlfriend's house and covering her in steak sauce. According to interviews and police statements, it all started when his girlfriend, 30-year-old Emma McCormick, had begun reading the novel 50 Shades of Grey before wanting to share it with Raymond. However, the plans for a sexy reading of E.L. James's passages backfired, as Raymond was extremely offended by the content of the book. Raymond Hodgson told prosecutors that the book was pornographic and his girlfriend should not read such literature. The argument lasted into the night, over text messages, and until around 7 p.m. the following evening, when Raymond returned to the home with a bottle of brown steak sauce and began squirting it all over McCormick, getting it in her eyes. In interviews, Raymond said he had every intention of squirting sauce over Miss McCormick, wanting to, quote, show her the true meaning of saucy, but he now regretted doing it, realizing how stupid it sounds. District Judge Gerald Chalk said Hodgson's actions had clearly been intended to demean Miss McCormick. Raymond Hodgson was given a single charge of simple assault. He was ordered to pay Emma what equals $150 American in compensation, cover her $130 in legal fees, and adhere to a 6 p.m. curfew for a month and a half. What a salacious and saucy time. I guess when I talked about the world being too sexy, I was talking about now, as opposed to the time this story took place in 2012. It feels like a very different time, doesn't it, 11 years ago? I remember when 50 Shades of Grey first came out. People were shocked, curious, and secretly reading it. Now, I feel like I have to watch a 50 Shades of Grey style sex scene before every YouTube video starts. Maybe that's on Pornhub. Either way. The world we live in now is just too sexy, but we are still expected to do regular life obligations too. So if you love reading dirty old smut books, don't let a dead-end relationship hold you back from what makes you happy. Stay true to what you love, and maybe one day, your very own Christian Grey will slowly guide your saucy fingers across the pages of your own novella of passion.
I am shook that even occurred. If you are so upset about your woman reading a sexy book that you... So he left, he actually did go and grab some sauce like at the store. Did he go to the fridge? Does it say?
Well, he had left and they had been apart for a whole night.
Okay.
So he had went home and they just texted and complained and fought for like 24 hours.
Okay, so
and then
all
he
that
came
did.
back
Okay.
the next night and sauced her.
So he brought the sauce with intent
Yep.
to sauce her down.
Yeah.
And that is very bizarre to me. I'm sorry. story. I feel like there's a million other responses to this exact scenario. And bringing a bottle of steak sauce and downing her in it was just so far off my radar personally that it really, 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 really shook me.
Yeah, I can see how the story of it was building up to look like it was going to lead to a night of passion of some sort.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I really didn't add that much. They had said that she did read passages out to him. I just picked some of my favorite ones.
I loved them.
But all of that was pretty much true because he did say, like, this is pornographic. My girlfriend should not be reading such literature. He had literally said in court, like, oh yeah, I came with the intent to sauce her, but now I'm embarrassed because I realize that's kind of stupid. All of that is actually what happened. It's a very petty thing to do, and I am shocked that you can be that mad for that long and still follow through with your dumb idea.
That's what I was saying. You had to leave, go get it.
You slept on the thought.
You slept on it. You thought of it. Then you had to go and get it, bring it with, and do it.
Mm-hmm. And it did get in her eyes.
God.
It's in the UK, so they just kept calling it brown sauce. There was only a couple articles that actually called it steak sauce. It could be slightly different in the UK. Brown sauce may be something a little different, but an American article had called it steak sauce. So I'm just going to say, I don't know that much about UK culture. Brown sauce may be something different.
Yeah, because if I heard brown sauce, I would think like, are you talking about brown gravy? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was thinking gravy or like chocolate sauce.
Yeah. And can I just say this too? The curfew thing that the judge imposed on him. First of all, I'm all about it. This guy sounds like trash. He sounds like he's really degrading and stupid, in my opinion. But I didn't even think that was an option to give a curfew to a grown man like that. That's kind of funny.
I've seen some curfew stuff, but it's usually on something a lot worse. You know, like if you're on sort of a house arrest and you just have to have a job or something, it's like you have to be indoors at this point. House arrest type stuff. But this is the UK and they must just be a little more creative than we are. And also, if this was America, I feel like the bills would have been way higher.
Oh, yeah.
You only had to pay her $150 in the problem and then $130 in legal fees.
Oh, that would have easily been $1,000, I feel like here.
I feel the same way.
I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know about like legal stuff there, but that does seem kind of low. When you said the curfew thing, that just made me really chuckle to myself. I was like, a curfew?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of funny. If we're going the route you did where he was the guy that was okay with like going to strip clubs, but she couldn't even read a book, it's like, well, you ain't going out at night. You are sitting at home.
Yeah, for a month and a half of the curfew was really weird to me, very creative. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if somebody gave me that curfew. But my writing of this story really started to take a very hard feminist turn as I was going, which I'm totally fine with. But the story really did seem to me like this was the kind of guy who's just like, I do whatever I want to do. My grown 30-year-old adult girlfriend should not read a book that I don't approve of. And the guy kind of just looks like the type that would be kind of controlling like that. So I went a little more heavier on the feminist angle there. But yeah, I just think that this dude probably was the type that I can go to a strip club if I want.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should read a book that gives you bad ideas about other men.
Guaranteed. If you are that weirdly controlling and that weird about women not being allowed to do things, then yeah, you're probably not the best set of moral standards yourself.
Yeah.
You're probably a hypocrite.
You're probably hiding something.
Yeah. No, I love that. You don't hear that very often. So the curfew thing was interesting.
For the joke, I'm so glad that he decided to fix his problems with sauce. Because that's a funny way to go about it.
Yeah, that is bizarre. This whole story is super bizarre. I didn't think it was going to take this turn.
Yeah.
Some people, man.
So another sexy story in the books.
Another sexy, saucy story, Trevin. That was a delightful episode, and I hope that everyone is having the best week. Just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to ride a train, baby. Woo, woo.
Bye.
See ya.
All aboard! Thank you for taking a funky ride on our train track this week.
And if you want more proof on how the world has got more erotic, you should be on social media. And while you're there, give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads.
And if you have any petty crime stories involving the mysterious brown sauce, please email us at livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same rating Emma would give 50 Shades of Grey, 5 sloppy stars. Rate our podcast at Good Pods, Apple, or wherever you rate podcasts.
Or by tying their victim to the tracks in front of an oncoming... That's a long one. Or by tying their victim to the tracks in front of an oncoming... An oncoming? Or by tying their victim to the tracks in front of an oncoming... Okay. I just keep saying oncoming instead of oncoming. I'm going to just start the whole sentence over, so maybe I can start anew. Okay. Many achieve this method by destroying a train track off in the distance, or by tying their victim to the tracks in front of an oncoming motherfucker.
Oh, no.
I'm not okay.